morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with Brian Nano. It is Pegasus Day. The excitement is all around. I can't wait to get this day started. Good morning, Brian.
Hey, Ronnie. Good morning. Happy Pegasus Day to you and everybody out there. It's an early morning, but we have been looking forward to this day for quite some time. 13 races for you, culminating with the $3 million Pegasus World Cup and a Rainbow Six that's percolating, huh?
Yeah, we got lots to get to in this show with the 13 race card. Yeah, $1 million gross jackpot guarantee in the Rainbow Six. That's races 8 through 13. Make sure you mark that down. And guarantees will be mentioned. You're out the afternoon there. You see him. What a job upstairs. $750 for the late pick 5, $750 for the late pick 4, and the all stakes, graded stakes, pick 3, $350,000. That's the last 3 races of the card, all the 3 Pegasus races.
I got an over money line parlay working.
Over. And now let's get over and look at your early pick 5 ticket.
$54. We amped it up a little bit. Big balloons we're hoping for today. 3 deep here in race number 2. 8-6 is the order. We'll get that worked out. In race number 3, on top for me, number 2, Red Hornet. That's my long shot play, Ronnie. The single is in race 4, Keeper of Time, and then a deep spread in race 5. That's a tough one on the turf. Take note, too, the 15 draws into that race and is a major player.
And that is race 5, first 5 races on the card. Already $100,000 in the pool, over $100,000. The current 7-5 favorite is the number 2 Breaker of Changes, the daughter of Bernardini, making her first start since a brief but productive 2021 campaign in which she broke her maiden at Kentucky Downs and was competitive after that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Now, George Weaver's going to bring this one back off a long layoff, but we'll take a look at a trainer staff for George here, and this kind of says she's going to be ready to roll very early in the betting, but she is 7-5. This is a big stat, 21%, 7 winners off a 34-horse sample, plus 180 layoff turf routes the past 5 years. It's a good horseman, amping it up a little bit of a notch. Ron, it's a good kind of basis for the whole day. If you're here entered today, I always kind of think you're ready to roll. I would think this horse off the long layoff.
Yeah, and and just you can tell by the board. I'm going to go with the 3 and second Watcher, the daughter of Tappet, going to the grass after returning from a long layoff of about 9 months to defeat maiden special weight runners. That race was moved to the Topeta for Todd. Louis Sayers going for 2 in a row. I thought he had a shot.
I totally agree, and they've tried to get this horse to the turf 3 straight times with a big pedigree. She's finally going to get on it today.
And we're going to go to race number 2 this afternoon, and just have great races throughout the afternoon. This one's going to be 7 furlongs, maiden special weight 3-year-olds. We did have a scratch of the number 4 horse in here, and that's Tup de Oro. And Brian, I'll kick it off here with the 6. Foxburg is a $300,000 son of Arrogate, debuting for Billy Mott with a sharp work tab showing at Person Park, including 3 consecutive bullet drills. I'm going to tell you this. We've been watching Bill Mott, all his horses now, they're in Payson Park. Something's changed. Yeah. He's firing them all the time in the morning. It was like Bill Mott, you never saw a bullet. And he had one run last week, that long shot, that lost by this much, off a similar workout pattern.
And old Lovebug yesterday off the long layoff with bullets in the holster. This horse is rumored to be a runner, has some steam to him. You see the bullets. Lee Einseidler, who owns Casa Creed, Giant Oak, a lot of good horses with and for Bill Mott. Lee paid $300 for this Arrogate, and the word is out on this one. I would think we're going to be a pretty strong favorite in this spot.
Yeah, and you used number 8 Bourbon Resolve right on top of your ticket for Ian Wilkes.
Well, I just went experience, Ron, and I have a lot of respect for Foxburg, and I think he's a runner, and I certainly used him in my early pick 5. We've talked about it a lot. Experience in these races can play. Bourbon Resolve, Ian Wilkes never wins with firsters. Maybe we get a better run today.
Well, you heard me pump up Bill Mott. Now I'll show you the stat that this guy found here on Bill Mott.
Oh, yeah. I should have segued to it here. This is interesting. Dirt Sprint, so the past couple of years is 0 for 12. 5 of them did hit the board, were in the money. We'll see what we get today, but I got a feeling Foxburg is a little different than the 12 horses in that sample, Ron.
I would think so. And all his horses this year have been running fantastic. Race number 3, going to stretch it out to 1 mile in 3/8 on the turf. It's an allowance optional claimer for 4-year-olds and up. That optional claiming price, $62,500. Full field of 11. Brian's going to kick it off. This is your long shot.
It is my long shot.
Red Hornet, yeah.
15 on the morning line, and we should get a square price here. I just thought this horse had a little bit of a trip last time, and all things considered, I thought ran very, very well with interest late when got free. I don't know if he's loose on the lead. There's not a lot of speed in here. I do think, Ron, he'll be part of a pace that looks pretty tepid to me. And I've got some questions about the favorites as well.
Yeah, you know, and that was a good performance. We lead the small trouble line in the form, and you can see how much trouble that horse had in there. I went to the inside horse with Corelli. He's a multiple graded stakes place performer on the turf. Returns from the extended layoff for Jonathan Thomas, hoping to flaunt his considerable class at this 11 furlong distance. Yeah. He likes this distance here.
He does, and Jonathan's a really good horseman, and this is why I thought at 1 for 21 off this elongated layoff, maybe we watch one, but this is all class, a graded stakes winner, Corelli. If he's ready to roll, they won't beat him today.
And the number 9, Ever Dangerous, gets blinkers removed, chased the pace, flattened out a little bit. The son of Kitten's Joy is bred to love this distance.
Yeah, he's clearly in the mix in here for George Weaver, who could have a pretty good day.
Let's go to race number 4 this afternoon. We're going to the Topita at about mile 70 yards. It's a handicap, fillies and mares 4 and up. It's the $100,000 South Beach. We did have a couple of scratches in here of the 5 and the number 8 horse in here. And Brian, you kicked it off with the number 6. I think this was a single in your early pick 5, Keeper of Time?
It was, Ron. It's kind of a leverage single for me because you could use several in here. But Brendan Walsh, I mean, was he ran this mare now on the Topita last year. It wasn't a crazy fast race for that kind of level, but she absolutely blew the doors off a pretty good group. It's her only start on Topita here and at Gulfstream Park. I just think now back to it. She's gotten plenty of foundation out of her under the way this year, and I just think she's going to be trouble in here.
Yeah, I got her on the my ticket for all the reasons you mentioned, but I did go with the 3 Cafe Society's grade 2 stakes placed on the Topita. Now, albeit that's a 6.5 furlong, stretches out on the all-weather surface after return from a layoff at Tampa, finished second behind that repeat winner going long on the main track for Sugar McGay, Junior Alvarado managing the surface switch. Thought this horse might have a shot.
Yeah, not out of the realm of possibility at all. Shug McGahee, Hall of Fame trainer here, and does have some Topita form as well. Now, we've got to prove it at 2 turns, but did get that out of the way. It's Pegasus Day, Ron. Get it together. Come on.
The air conditions are right on me. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think I'm picking up what you're putting down here.
Yeah, I mean, I think this horse is really sneaking to me in the race. I like this horse, Cafe Society. And, it was the morning line favorite, so we're not giving you that much there as far as that. Let's go to race number 5 this afternoon, and this one is a 1-mile turf allowance optional claimer, 4-year-olds and up. The optional claiming price is $25,000. Had a scratch of the 9 and the 13, 14, 16. 15 is going to get in and run.
And that's important because this horse has some serious form, not far now. So take note of that. Make sure when you're playing these horizontals, the early pick 4 is here as well. Samantha will have her ticket up a little bit later. Take note the 15 is in and can run.
I want to go back. We both picked Axtell on top, who was well mid third at the distance in the grade 3 Byron Station. So let's go back and look at, we're going to pick it up from the top of the stretch home, was number 4 that day also. And now you're going to see suck behind that wall of horses. But watch this nice move that this horse makes. Ducks to the inside, and you're going to say, okay, and just was up against in tight quarters. But this horse never gave up, albeit the horse finishes third. But look how tough this horse is right to the wire. I thought that was a good performance. I don't know how much the wall of horses at the top of the stretch hurt him when he had to go to the inside. Just thought it was a good performance. Saffie Joseph Jr., Edgar Zayas today.
I agree with everything you said. I picked him as well, and I think that turf race is the best that anyone's run in here. Now, there's others that can get to it, and he needs to get back to it. He didn't fire last time on the Topita and the Derby off the turf, but I like him in this spot too, Ron.
You went with the number 11 in second, and that's Journeyman. I believe you have a stat for that horse.
Yeah, this is another Saffie. I'm all Saffie all the time today. We'll take a look at a stat here for Saffie Joseph Jr. This is off the claim now. We don't necessarily think of Saffie as a turf trainer. It's a pretty good stat, though. 24% off the claim routing on turf the past 5 years, 14 wins as well. Journeyman comes out of a really, really fast race that was won by Mo Hawk, and Journeyman was really the only stretch runner, stalker to do any late kind of running. I kind of think that moves him up a little bit that much more.
We liked Mohawk that day.
Yes, you did.
I like Mohawk. That's why I remember I went back and do it. Yeah. The one double clutch I'll mention quickly is a stakes place at the distance. This son of Optimizer names his first start. He makes his first start. Sent to the sidelines after finishing 8 behind Axtell. That was that race, the Byron Station. Rusty Arnold, Tyler Gaffleone handling the rematch today. Here's a horse that I think maybe with a little luck can get on the ticket.
This horse broke his maiden in April of last year at Keeneland and has never run in a non-stakes race. So this is a little bit of a drop for him. It could wake him up.
Let's go to race number 6 today, and it's graded stakes action here in race number 6. 1 mile and 1/2 on the turf. Fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. It is the $150,000 Grade 3 La Prevoyante. We did have an early scratch of the number 3 Bow Draw, and you and I both went with Adventuring. Take it over.
Wow, she's a huge, huge favorite in here. 7-5 on the morning line. Probably odds on. There's not a lot of speed in this race. She'll be right off of besides herself to her inside. And Ronnie, just to put it, bring it all the way down to the bottom level, she just looks like a better horse than the rest of these.
Yeah, you know, Brad Cox brings her down here. Has Joe Rosario atop this daughter, Pioneer in the Nile. She won the ladies' marathon. That was going a mile and 5/16, yeah. So the distance is not a problem here. We both had interest in the number 2 Personal Best, who was sharp, winning an 11-furlong allowance at Aqueduct on the turf. Goes back to the grass, finished 3rd on the Tapeta in the rained-off Tropical Park Oaks for Mr. Shug McGay around Ortiz Jr. in the saddle this afternoon. So that's good connections right there.
She's got to step up a little bit, but Shug's been hiding a little bit at the meet. So I think if she gets some class relief and answers the test a little bit, she's got figures that make her a player in here. Adventuring's all class, though.
Well, I can see Shug running well in here. The number 6 Transient, the British bred, is debuting locally after following that 11-furlong allowance score on the Woodbine turf. Comes back, runs 3rd in the El Malaccio on the Tapeta in the grade, behind El Malaccio, I should say, in the Grade 3 Maple Leaf. The latter going on to win Woodbine's version of the La Prevoyante in her next start. So I thought that was pretty good.
Race. Yeah.
Right. They got one up there, too.
You know, the elephant in the room here is kind of the 1.5 miles. Who can get it? Who wants it? Who's stretching their rubber band a little thin? At least she's run well going in a classic distance of ground.
We got race number 7 this afternoon, 1.70 miles on the Tapeta. 4-year-olds and up, handicap, $100,000. This is named after our sharp little restaurant right down there, or club, we'll call it. That is the Carousel Club. And this one scratch 1, 3, 15, 16, 13, 14 get in. Tyler's on the 14, and also on the 5, it's Florent Giroux.
Yeah, big scratch. I loved Ramsey's Solution in here. His Tapeta.
I lost that one, too.
Yeah, that was a little frustrating because I had to rework this race a little bit. And while I landed on the Grace Creek run, it's a good segue. Let's bring up the trainer staff for Paulo Lobo. If you're not familiar with this trainer, I mean, he's done a lot of good work over the years, and he's kind of took a little hiatus. He's back better than ever. And in all-weather routes the past 5 years, he's 18% with a big ROI. The price on Gray Street gets knocked down. He brings this one down from Turfway Park, though, Ron, off a pretty fast win on their poly track.
Yeah, so he figures right in there. You know, race sort of changed around, as you mentioned. You know, I just think maybe the number 10, Ready On, might be a good play here after the scratch of the horse that we both like for Todd Pletch and beating the nose in the Tropical Park Derby on the Tapeta. This horse can run well in here. Ired's going to be in the saddle.
Yeah, going to step up a little bit today, but, you know, I think he's better than that last race, and he's acclimated now as well.
Well, we're going to take a short break after we zoom through the first 7 races on this card, and now we'll take it down a little bit when we come back with our feature races of the afternoon. So we'll be right back.
This is a championship meet.
Yeah.
All the best jockeys in the world are here, and I'm excited to ride against them.
We back.
And you get to watch some really incredible, talented athletes out there.
Yeah.
To us, it's a place to be in the winter.
I love Gulfstream Park because of the racing.
The palm trees, the beach is right here. The horse racing is some of the best in the country.
A lot of good horses come out of here. And if you want to go to the next level, Gulfstream Park was the place to come.
I remember the first time I came to Gulfstream, it was like this big fairy tale place. All the history.
Shoemaker sitting perfectly still. He hasn't touched this magnificent colt, and here comes the finish.
And all these great horses, trainers, jockeys. It was everything that I ever dreamed of.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today, Ron and Brian. I hope you have a nice cup of coffee around here. If you're at home listening to us, a bagel, maybe some French toast. It's still only 10:15.
Maybe a Bloody Mary.
Maybe a Bloody Mary. I knew he'd go there, so without a doubt. So race 8 is 7 furlongs, fillies and mares 4 and up. It's a $200,000 grade 2, the inside information. Here's where the Rainbow Six starts. So we'll check out my ticket, and it's $48.60. We'll talk about the 8th race. In race number 9, my buddy is back, Channel Maker. I love that horse. I used a couple others in there. Race number 10, my top pick in the Fred Hooper is Picking Up Pennies, but I used Miles D and Black Belt. And then in the Pegasus, my best bet of the afternoon is the number 3, Wakanaka for Billy Mott. And then race 12, I'm going with Hurricane Dream on top in the Pegasus Turf. And I'm going with Cyberknife, but I got some coverage with Skippy Long Stockings and Defunded. $48.60 for me. Wakanaka makes my day.
Well, this is the other thing, too. Now, this is your last chance to sweep this thing because we're paying it out tomorrow, maybe $5 million in this pool tomorrow. Get in today. This will be a massive pool.
And you make a great point. $1 million gross jackpot guaranteed today, too. So right there, the inside information. Well, Brian, I have to start it off here with my favorite horse. My favorite horse of the whole summer campaign. Love this horse, and that's Mary Quite Contrary, who's, to me, an overachieving daughter of First Dude. She makes a graded stakes debut. I want to go back and show you her last race when she wins the Rampart. And this was going a mile, and I wasn't convinced that this horse could get the mile. And you're just going to see this horse just cruise away. And we talked to Luca Panici. We'll show that a little later on. This horse, to me, just doesn't lose. Luca's never lost on this horse.
If you look at her form, every time Joe Catanese has asked her to do something different and more difficult, and every time, not only has she done it, she's won. Last time was the quote-unquote most difficult test. That was her best race. She's the house horse. We're all rooting for her. Big test for her today.
And when we talked to Luca, he said, this is a big test. This is a big jump up here. And, probably, you went with the number 4 obligatory. It's probably the one to beat in here, both the grade 1 and grade 2 winner at the 7 furlong distance. You know how much I like that.
Yeah, and she's a 2 for 2 at Gulfstream Park on our dirt course, so that's a big deal too. She was absolutely awesome last year, winning here earlier in the Hurricane Birdie, excuse me. She's just going to try to run everybody down. Maybe Mary Quite Contrary can get the jump on her.
The number 1 horse, Famed, is debuting locally after drawing clear to win that $100,000. She's in all stakes at Remington Park. Won that race by almost 7 lengths. Brad Cox, he's good with the turn-back move. He's going with the Florent Giroux, going to run with the Lasix off today. But this was a serious win for this horse. I know they're going to say, it was Remington Park. I think this horse can run well.
Well, she's Essential Quality's little sister, so she's got a big pedigree. Brad's kind of, she's been middling a little bit. She needs to step up today.
Let's go to race number 9, 1 1/2 on the turf. 1 1/2 miles, 4-year-olds and up. It is the $200,000 grade 3, the William L. McKnight. And we do have a couple of scratches in here of the 10 Reigning Spirit and the 13 Barberini. Not Barbaro, but Barberini will be there. Brian, I love Channel Maker. Yeah. You love Channel Maker. Now, I want to go back and show you the last time this one won was back on July 4th. Now, she's been knocking with the best in the country. She wins the Grand Courtier, and she went wire to wire in this race and was just up against it. 8 years old at this time he's going and just runs a bang-up race and would not be beat. He is the number 3 horse in here. Looked like the 4 was going by, and he just gamed it out to the wire. Just thought this was a fantastic performance.
He's all class, and the fact that he's still keeping on at this ripe old age of 8 is pretty impressive and a testament to his ability, and he gets to sit right off a bond, which I think is beneficial to him too.
The number 6, Temple, was beaten ahead in the 12th furlong grade 3. Sycamore at Keeneland is another trying to rebound. Sort of a poor showing. A lot of horses ran badly in the Red Smith.
Yeah, he's got back form. He likes this turf course, 10 for 15 in the exacta, but as Ronnie kind of said, he's got to get back on the beam a little bit.
My actual second choice in here was that 10 horse, that scratch Reigning Spirit. So Aban, we know Aban from Todd Pletcher. He's a distance specialist.
He really is, and he likes this turf course too. I was had a bad taste in my mouth off his return last time, but it was a different set of circumstances.
All right, let's go to race number 10, 1 mile, 4 and up. It's the $150,000. The grade 3, Fred Hooper. You got an elite pick 4 ticket there.
Yeah, just real quickly, it's $9. Basically, the bottom line on this ticket is I'm spreading deep in the Pegasus World Cup turf. Everything else, I'm very condensed. We'll get to it in a second, but the dart kind of landed on Masterpiece in the Pegasus World Cup turf.
Wow, yeah, very affordable, $9. Race 10 here, picking up pennies. I don't know. I got to see what price. This horse is 8-1. Going to try and pick up his first graded stakes victory after reeling off 3 consecutive victories at this 1 mile distance. I'm going with a what have you done lately angle for me. I know it's a test. Jose Ortiz in the saddle for Saffie Joseph Jr.
Well, he's another horse that's done everything Saffie's asked. This is a tough test today. There's speed to his inside, speed to his outside, but he comes in, never been better.
You have the 10 horse who's also from Saffie.
Yeah, and I like the cutback for this horse. It's a 1-turn mile. He's got 2-turn foundation, Ron. He's going to be able to get some pace up front to run into, and he should be a decent price in here as well.
Yeah, he'll be a good price. Wide open race. This is where if you can spread, I'm zeroing in. I just think a good performance in there. Now, race number 11 this afternoon. Of course, this is the second running of the Pegasus Filly and Mare Turf, and 1 mile and 1/16, $500,000. And what a great race. And I'm just going to show you the performance of Wakanaka, the Irish bred. This is going back when this one wins the Fall Harvest. Then you're going to see that ISO shot. I mean, this is Fall Harvest out there. We're not a big field, but, had to make this move. And there is 2 stakes horses that running today that this horse beat in this race. And just look at this horse just exploded through the stretch to win it.
No, it was a big performance. She's hinted at a lot of ability for Bill Mott, and I think when it comes out, she's pretty darn good. She's going to have to answer the bell today, and this is a tough field for her today. But, this is a Hall of Fame trainer that's poised to have a big day on Pegasus Day.
An interesting jockey switch here with Joel Rosario riding this horse this afternoon. So we'll see what happens in here. Brian, you went with the number 9. This was your single, Shantanasra Santasara, Irish bred, returning from the latest layoff.
I just think she's the best horse, and if Chad Brown's going to run her here like he did Regal Glory last year, she's tearing the barn down. I just think her best race is too good for these.
Yeah, so really nice. Now, the $1 million, 1 mile and 1/8 4-year-olds and up is the Pegasus Turf. We have a scratch of the 8 and the 14 to 13 will get in and run. And Brian, you went with the number 11 horse in here, Masterpiece, and that is a horse that's going to be a pretty good price for Saffie Joseph Jr.
It's a price race to me, Ron. I mean, one of the favorites is on the outside. The other favorite, Ivar, we don't know if he can get 9 furlongs. It's not really his jam. Masterpiece is 3 for 3 at the distance. Saffie Joseph Jr. is going to take over. He's got good races in California. He's got to probably step up a little bit. But again, this seems like a race there for the taking. I want to price some of the favorites I have questions against. And as I kind of joked that the dart landed on Masterpiece, I want to price. It's a wide open race. This is a spread race to me.
Well, I got my long shot here, and that's the 4 Hurricane Dream, the French bred. Really consistent group stakes performer in Europe. Makes her North American debut for Grand Motion. Looking to sit the trip. I see some speed in here, and I just thought this gelding working sharply on the Palm Mills turf was going to run well this afternoon. Ridden by Frankie Dettori. He's one of the best that's, judging the pace and making that move. I thought this horse would run exceptionally well in there. I'm trying to get a little bit of a price like you are.
Yeah.
I want to go back and show you the performance of Lady Spitespear, who's going to face the boys today. And we're going to pick it up on November 5th here. And this is the Breeders' Cup, Filly and this was a good performance behind the Filly and Mare Turf. So just fought on. Of course, she is the number 1. Now, it looks like she's going to be 6th here. And she just fights on Brave. Don't forget, she was 32-1 this day. And look at her fight on right to the wire. Thought it was a great performance. Of course, that was the Filly and Mare Turf. But look, she's right there. She's coming on again.
Well, how about the other thing you don't want to forget now? She could have run in the Filly and Mare Pegasus race.
Yeah.
Here she is today for $1 million in the grade 1. So I think it's all systems go here for Lady Spitespear. And quite honestly, if she wants to run that race back, that's plenty fast enough to beat this field.
City Man, I'm glad you put this horse in second. I got him in third. This horse, when you're handicapping, I keep going back to this horse and back to this horse. Comes back and comes into the race. Razor sharp after following those back-to-back stake victories against New York Briggs with a victory in the Grade 2 Fort Lauderdale. Just horse Joel Rosario in the saddle. It just lots to like.
Yeah, there is. And there's also lots to nitpick a little bit, too. He had a dream trip last time. We know Colonel Liam didn't fire in that race, and now he was subsequently retired, and now he's on the outside, and he's a short price. I'm not going to get beat by him, but I wouldn't want to take a short number on him on top, Ron.
Now you got the number 10 Ivar, the Brazilian bred from Paul Lobo today.
Yeah, and this is a really good horseman. And Ivar, if this race was a mile, Ivar would be legitimately 7 or 8 to 5. It's not a mile, and you're probably going to take 3 to 1 on Ivar, and I'm not sure this is his trip, Ron. 9 furlongs.
Last but certainly not least is the 1 mile and 1/8 4-year-olds and up, the Pegasus World Cup Invitational Grade 1, $3 million. And Brian, here's how I handicapped the race. I looked up, down, and I think that Cyberknife, of the horses, I know many of them that ran here and around, was the best horse in the race. I know he's got to deal with post 10. He's the son of Gun Runner. We knew how Gun Runner loved this track and won the Pegasus World Cup. Regular rider Florent Giroux, I just hope he can carve out the trip. I just couldn't go. I was torn like you between Skippy Longstocking, Cyberknife, and that's what made the decision I made.
Hey, Florent Giroux, another rider with 2,000 career wins this past week, so congratulations to him. I think he is the best horse, and he's drawn well because he's outside of Defunded, who brings some serious California speed. The question is, he had such a gut-wrenching, unfortunate loss in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. To Cody's Wish, it was a great story. Can he dial it back up again in what is his last career start for trainer Brad Cox?
Yeah, and, Skippy Longstocking, this is the steam horse that we heard all week. It stretches out to the 9 furlongs, return from the left, uses tactical speed. He won the Harlan's Holiday. And if you're a buyer aficionado, got a 106 buyer, this horse was motoring, whether you used any figure, this horse went fast.
I didn't like him at all. He's my best bet of the day. I didn't like him at all in the Harlan's Holiday, and we watched that race live out on the apron, and I said to myself, if he's going to win that race, he's heck to pay in the Pegasus. That's a short stretch finish line race. I like him in a lot today.
Brian, you're an excellent line maker. This is what I think with Defunded. Debuts locally for Bob Baffert. Can this horse go favorite?
He might. I think Cyberknife will take the money. He'll probably be a pretty solid second choice. He's fast. He's going to try to run this horse off their feet. And he's going to put a lot of pressure on a lot of other horses, but a lot of other riders too. Because if you let Defunded go early, you might never see him again. And then there's a race within a race there.
And this mile and an 8, he's sitting right where he wants to be, middle of the pack there. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And I think the most interesting part of that is what Brian touched on, the pace in this race, how this pace is going to set up with that 9 furlong distance. So we got a minute or two that we could rush through our lightning round here, and then we'll turn it over to Pete Aiello with all the scratches that you need. Mandatory payout. We want to let you know that is tomorrow. You'll hear about it all day. Brian says if it's not hit today, $5 million.
It's going to be it's going to be a big pool tomorrow on a mandatory day. They love sending it in, so regardless, get involved with that.
Coast to Coast is back today, the popular pick 5 between us and Santa Anita, and there's today's schedule. They started with race 2 at Santa Anita, and race 11, race 3 at Santa Anita, 12 and 13 here at beautiful Gulfstream Park. Your best bet today, Brian?
All the way at the end, Skippy Longstocking.
Skippy Longstocking's my best bet today is Wakanaka, and there you see it in race. I love saying that. Your long shot today?
Yeah, it's early on, Red Hornet in race number 3.
And mine is in the turf, and you'll see it there, Hurricane Dream, 15 to 1. I'm praying I get 15 to 1 on that horse. Don't forget, also, Brian is really in a hot speed on this big day. You got a chance to win a Sharp polo shirt. If you play Beat the Expert, you go to our events, the ticket on our site, put your tickets in, and you're ready to go. And finally, last but not least, want to congratulate Red Ortiz Jr. on winning the 2022 Eclipse Award. And there you see him up there. And thanks to everybody that helped us out put this together today.
Nice photo there, too, as well.
Yeah. Pretty good. So that's it. We'll turn it over to Pete. Scratches, jockey changes, and we'll be back here throughout the day. We got a full field of people working with us today. And what is right there, Michelle? You. We got Brian. We got me, of course. We have Samantha and
Angela. And I think Claudia's doing her own thing today.
Claudia's working on the Spanish side. So good luck, everybody.
We're ready for the start. They're off.